Hey folks, welcome to Got Your Back post-game edition. Ryan Rishaug in the Sherwood Park Got Your Back studios getting set to break down this shutout loss to the New York Islanders for the Edmonton Oilers. What has happened to their season, folks? 7-3 to start the year, 3-7 in their last 10. It has not been a good little run here for the Oilers, so we're going to break it all down. And of course, Got Your Back, as always, is brought to you by Mr. Dirk, a high-end clothing store. High-end in terms of their clothes, not necessarily in terms of their cost, though. They've got great stuff there. If you're looking for suits, they've got you covered. All sorts of fantastic brand names. Get you smart looking as you're heading into work. Got a big road trip coming up. Need a new suit? Go see them. They do some great customs as well. But they've also got a nice lineup of casual clothes as well. So everything that you need if you want to upgrade the wardrobe, one piece at a time. Just pick something. Something that you're not feeling great in, get rid of it. Go see Mr. Dirk, and they will get you all set up. All right, time to check in with Jason Strudwick, who knows a lot about Mr. Dirk. I sent a promo the other day, Struddy, of the day you and I went into Mr. Dirk there, and they sized you up for your sweater suit. And I got some good reactions to the promo, buddy, because your suit was getting a little love online, and I had the origin story of that sweater suit that you wear.
Killing it. I had a couple of guys that I really respect the way they dress. They text me, they're like, "You look so stylish," and I hadn't talked to them for a couple of years, no reason, like nothing bad, but just out of nowhere, I'm like,
that feels
"This means
good."
So much that you text me about it, and he's like, "Where'd you get it?" And like, so I said, "You can't get the same one. Obviously, you can't steal my thunder." But yeah, no, it was unreal. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What?"
Was it Henrik Lundqvist? Was it Lundqvist?
No.
Oh.
He's.
Has he seen you in your new outfit, in your new costumes
I should take
yet?
a picture. It's a little creepy though, sending a selfie of yourself to a former friend.
But you know what you do though. You know what you do though is you get Shona to do it, right? Because he was part of our intervention, our fashion intervention with you. And I think if Shona were to send him a couple of updated shots, then maybe you can get the credit from him without having to be real obvious. Like, look at me, Henrik. I can dress good now.
Too sexy. Hashtag, am I too sexy now?
No, we're not approaching that yet. This podcast, by the way, is available on YouTube, folks. So go ahead and check out our Got Your Back YouTube channel if you want. Available on all platforms as well. If you go to YouTube, Struds, and watch this, you're going to see a pretty significant difference in the level of detail in my shot and your shot. We are now partway through season 2 of Got Your Back YEG. Right. You've been making some promises about upgrading your look.
I have 2 of the 3 things I need. The third one is taking time. I thought it'd be done.
I don't believe you.
I know. Listen, I deserve this type of criticism, but this is out of my control. I engaged someone to do something. This is in July, and I'm still waiting for the third item.
What 3 items? What 3 magical items are going to fix this?
I don't want to ruin it, but I have 2 of the 3. I'm waiting for the third. I'm not just going to half-ass it. That's the last thing I'm going to do on this podcast. I never half-ass it, ever.
Yeah. No, you don't, except for your look. Your look is completely half-assed right now. Is one of the 3 items a light of some sort that's going to put some color in your face? Like, you look like a cadaver right now. It's the blank wall behind you. It's the gray. There you go.
There, is that better?
Well, no, it just went back. That's a little bit better, but
all right. Well, I mean, we're not here looking. We all know, we can all agree I'm a good-looking guy. I'm the best-looking guy on this show. I don't need to.
But you got the cans on your ears, and you got.
I like the cans though. I like that. I feel it's more like what's his name from WKRP in Cincinnati. I like
Les Nessman.
No, not Les
Nessman. The other guy, Johnny Fever.
I like it. I feel like it's like I feel naked without it. I know you have a little earbud. I like this feeling. This is how I like it.
You guys had similar hairlines. He just let it grow out a little more.
Similar lifestyles, Steve.
You need those big tinted glasses too. Those would be absolute beauties. Okay, listen, another loss here for the Oilers, so we got to get to the breakdown brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. And DLR Vinyl's got some of the nicest maintenance-free fencing and decking products out there. If you've always had a wood fence in your backyard or a wood deck, and it's getting a little bit sketchy. You're looking at it thinking, oh boy, what is that going to look like when the snow melts? Is it time to sand? Is it time to stain? Is it time to paint? Well, you can set all that work aside and instead put in maintenance free from DLR Vinyl. They've got high quality products. I've got lots in my yard. I absolutely love it. Lasts for decades and decades, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So it's my family's company. My brother Rick runs the branch here in Edmonton. My brother Rob runs the branch out in Calgary. Give them a call. And they can give you a bit of a sense for what they've got. By the way, if you're a contractor and you install fences, you might want to check out their post-pounding system because it's a lot easier than digging holes and pouring cement. So DLR Vinyl products for people who want to upgrade what they've got in their backyard and for installers who want to make their life a little bit easier. Okay, Struds. Yes, the Oilers got goalied tonight. They did. That is the only place to start in this game. There are more underlying problems, and we will dig into those. But this is one of those nights where you got to tip your hat to a degree to a guy who is very much in the conversation for best goalie on the planet.
Dialed in, man. Dialed in. 50, was it 50 save shutout, whatever it was? Right
49, I think. Yeah.
Right around it. I mean, that's a hell of a performance. There's a side of it where you say, well, you can't allow him to be that guy. Like the Oilers had good chances. I don't know that they were amazing chances. I thought that, a lot of times they hit him. Now that's credit to the goalie because he's in the right place. And I think it's unfair to sometimes say he made it look easy because I think that's his job to be in the right place. But I wouldn't, there weren't like a couple amazing saves. You're like, oh, you stole a real goal. So good performance by their goalie for sure. He earned it. He earned the shutout. I'm not sure how hard the Oilers pushed him. 50 shots, yes. A ton of really good chances. I'm not sure if I'm going to say that.
So if I'd have told you that their goalie's going to make 49 saves and pitch a shutout and the Oilers would have had 5 power plays on the night, that's the part for me. This is a team that has to outscore its mistakes the way it's playing right now. They have to because defensively they're not tight enough, and we're going to get to that. But the power play to go 0 for 5 on the road in a game where you're playing against a real good goalie, but you're just looking for something to click. And not only did the power play go 0 for 5, then they end up giving up one. That was as much a kick in the teeth to this night for this team as anything going on at the other end.
So you're -1 in the power play, right? And you have 5. Oh. That's a killer. And you can see, they're trying to find some chemistry. They had Bouchard out there. They had Barry out there. The second unit was getting some time. I mean, that was maybe because of how much time the other guys were playing. But you've got to find a way to score there. You've got to find a way to get on the power play. And you mentioned that first goal is the shorthanded goal. Yeah. You get through the first period, you're getting outshot. And then the Oilers, to their credit, they really got after it. They started playing hard. And then you give up that shorthanded goal. Oh, man, that's a kick in the junk, especially on the road, especially you're trying to find traction as a team. And to give up a shorthanded goal and come out, -1 in your power play. That is and to give up a power play goal on top of it. So you're actually -2. If you're playing, starting games -2 in the specialty teams, scoring 5 on 5, that's a tall order, Schauger.
Yeah, no question it is. Let's break down some of these goals here. You just talked about the shorthanded one that they gave up. I threw out a tweet online, talked a little bit about Nugent Hopkins and his back check on that goal. I didn't like it. I thought he stopped skating. Then a bunch of people screamed at me. We're like, Tyson Barrie! So I was like, all right, take another look. And definitely Tyson Barrie seemed to kind of get caught out in no man's land on his back check as well. And maybe the reason Nugent Hopkins stopped skating is because he thought Barrie was there. But I'm talking about a shorthanded goal against on the road. And we're talking about Tyson Barrie and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 2 of the most veteran players on this team.
The problem right there is that I believe both people thought the other guy was going to do it. And so no one really did the job.
Yeah.
I'll say this once on this podcast. If I say it once, I'll say it a million times. As a D-man, you can never trust a forward. Never, ever can you trust a forward to do what they're supposed to, because they don't. Let's just call it what it is. Forwards aren't trained to be good defensive players. That's just not what they're thinking. So Tyson Barrie, I think your breakdown is 100% right. I think Tyson is in between. Understand what he needs to do. He needs to skate as hard as he could, tie up Pajot's stick. That is your job. Now, if Nugent Hopkins gets there at the same time and lifts the stick, that's great. And could Nugent got back faster? Yes, 100%. But I don't think, because honestly, it didn't look like it was really anything going on. All of a sudden, Pajot pulls away from both of them, and that's a real problem. So, step one, Barry's got to be just assume that the forward's going to do something wrong. Step two, Nuge has to keep coming back, and if you do that, someone will get it right, because that's a goal that can't happen. It's not like Parise skates pretty well, but it's not like he's a fire burner. He just fired it in front of both Oiler players. Pajot tips it short side. I mean, that's a preventable goal. Shorthanded, man. It's not enough.
Feel a little bit like that goal Canada gave up in the World Cup today, like kind of just a play where there were people in position, but just I'm not going to try and be a soccer expert here, but to just sort of lulled. Like I don't know if on the power play this group, because they gave up another chance later on. Yeah. Nugent Hopkins was lackadaisical on the wall and a chance back the other way on the power play. The power play is so good, and it's such a strength of this team, but they're giving up stuff. And in big games like this, you give up stuff like that, and it feels like the mistakes they're making on the power play are very similar to the mistakes that we're seeing over and over 5-on-5.
Last year when Jay Woodcroft came in, he made a change, and I'm wondering if we need to see this again, where the first unit didn't get the full 2 minutes, right? They started pulling their minutes back. To be fair, I didn't look at what those guys played, but I'm guessing of the 10 minutes, it was a ton of power play time. When I say those guys, the top guys, I'm guessing they're guys in the 6-7 minute mark.
7:32 for McDavid, 7:31 for Nugent Hopkins, 7:31 for Draisaitl, 5:57 for Hyman.
So let's call it 75% of the time they're on the ice. So I get it. They're your best players, but do you need to now with Kane out, it's harder. I will recognize that, even Yamamoto. So maybe it's harder to pull them off, but just to give a little bit more, how can I say it? Just a little more juice when they're out there. So they're a little more hungry out there. And I don't want to frame it like they're not trying on the power play, but just a little bit more zip. And we saw that from Woodcroft. I wonder if you should get back to that. Because their power play, it needs to produce. In a night where you get 5 power plays, you need to get at least one and not give up a shorthanded. They do that. It's a different game, and maybe they get to the Isles goaltender sooner.
Okay, the head coach broke down the goals against as well, so let's get to that in the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, and we'll remind you, as part of their 45th anniversary for the next 3 months, 2 months now, they'll be giving away and installing a new furnace or hot water tank to a community organization or a charity that is in need. So send an email to info@weiss-johnson.com. That's info@weiss-johnson.com if you know a community organization or a charity that is in need. Struddy, I had the garage heater put in today. I now have a heated garage. Do you have a heated garage?
I do, yeah.
Oh, man. This can be a game changer. This is step 1 in my master plan. Golf simulator in my garage. I just haven't told my wife about step 2 yet.
Yeah.
Hoping to pull that off. Anyways, I digress. Back on track here. The Weiss Johnson Soundbox. Here's a head coach breaking down what he saw on the goals against.
One guy gets inside us on a back check. We had numbers there on the shorthanded goal against. Another one we put into our own net. And then the third one, it was kind of late at the second period there. We had enough people back. We didn't sort it out right and ended up in the back of our net.
Okay, let's go to goal number 2. This is where he said a player put it into his own net. I don't understand why Evan Bouchard was standing in front of the net with his stick on the ice in the blue paint, looking at the puck like he wanted to take a pass and bury it. He had nobody. He didn't shoulder check. He didn't know the guy was behind him. Why have your stick on the ice in front of your own net and be staring at the puck? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't you be doing something, Struddy? You are the D-man. Yeah. Explain it to me.
So I don't think that tonight Bouchard was getting the spider senses tingling when there was danger, right? I don't think he sensed the danger there.
Well, this has been a fundamental issue with Bouchard from the start.
It is, but I'll just stick to tonight.
Yep.
So when in the second goal, as a D-man, instead of reaching back through a passing lane with your stick, what he should have done is backed his bus up, got his feet into that, then had his stick facing up ice. When you do that, now you have the entire view of what's going on in front of you. When your stick is facing the net and your toe caps are facing the back of the rink, you cannot see what's going on around you. And he had no idea that player was coming back door.
Yeah.
Very dangerous play. And I you know what? it just takes a moment, right? Just flip around, get your butt, facing the backboard, stick up ice. Now your feet are in the lane. There's a higher chance it might hit your feet. Now you can also see what's going on around you, and that's pretty standard defenseman play. But I just don't think he sensed the danger. And I think the third goal, the second goal he was on for, but the third goal, I think it would be the same.
Yeah, I mean, on that second one, like I get as a defenseman you want to take away passing lanes, but I don't think in front of your own net, right in the blue paint, is the time to be like trying to take away passing lanes.
Well, you want to take the passing away with your body. So get your body in there.
Yes,
right.
And take away a stick on the other side.
So you want to be inside. So I always talk about being inside their guys. And right when Bouchard's reaching back in, even if the puck stopped there, he's not inside. The other player's going to get there first. So what I'm saying is put his feet where the pass went and your stick up ice. And when you do that, you're in a much better position.
Yeah, so a little bit of lackadaisical defensive awareness on the second and the third goals. I thought Kulak did an okay job on the start of that play. The guy then skated away from him and around the back of the net. Some guys caught watching. So this is a theme, and this is a theme that we have continually talked about on this podcast and on every radio station around talking about the Oilers. It's what's going on in the defensive end. Darnell Nurse was asked about the D that this team is playing as we go back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
We need to be better. Can't be giving up three goals a night. Can't have our goalies having to make too many grade A chance saves every night. I mean, it's too many a night that they have to make, and we know that as a group. We've been saying it for years to be able to score with any team in the league, and our defense got to be better.
Now, that's Darnell Nurse. Connor McDavid said something interesting post-game here too, though, because he was asked about their D play. McDavid said, we were winning games at the start of the year that we probably didn't deserve to. And he said he actually believes that they're defending better now than they were before, which is interesting because, this has been a narrative over the last 10 games, big time about their defensive play, but here's the captain.
Yeah, I truthfully think that our defending has been better of late than at the beginning of the year. Obviously, it still has a long way to go. I think that's pretty clear. We continue to have to be, stingier in our own zone, harder in front of our own net, all those types of things.
What do you think of the assertion that their D has been better?
I guess I'd have to look at every goal. I don't know that I've seen God, I'm not sure. I can't agree with him. I'm sorry. I don't know that is accurate. I think that there have been some games that it's been better. But let's look at the New Jersey game, last game. It was in that game, I thought it was kind of Barry and Nurse that maybe had the soft gaps at time, right? Or Nurse and specifically. And then you look at tonight, I thought Bouchard had a kind of tight. It was Bouchard and Barry, with a couple plays you don't like. So it kind of, I don't know if it's one guy. I think it just kind of rotates through everyone. And it's just when Darnell talks about just being, or maybe it was Connor, harder and stingier in front of your own net, it's what you have to be. And it has to be a shift in, shift out commitment to doing that. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but that's just the way it is. You never know what shift's going to be dangerous. Like when the Oilers skate out there for that power play, did they think they're going to get scored on shorthanded? And those guys are going after you. So are they better defensively? I don't know. I'd have a hard time. It'd be marginally, if at all.
So you pointed out that maybe cutting back the top unit power play a little bit will maybe increase their quality. I'd like to point out something else too. I think an adjustment that I think it's time to make. I know that I have always said that playing McDavid and Draisaitl together will win you a division title. Playing them separately will win you a Stanley Cup. And I still stick by that.
Yeah.
But I think Jay Woodcroft needs to go to the nuclear option more often than he is. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, when you put them together, have the opportunity to do magical things and pull you out of tight spots. And I get that he's wanting to teach his team to stick with it and that he doesn't want to look like a coach who panics. I would have started that third period with Holloway, Draisaitl, and McDavid together and let them play an entire period because I think they would have had a better chance at digging out.
See, I don't think that the scoring is the problem. I know tonight they got shut up. Like they got 50 shots or 49, whatever. Like they're getting chances, right? So I'm not sure that's really it. I would like to, I'm looking more at the D zone. I think they got to prevent more goals and be harder against. Like, you go through all the goals in tonight's game and last game, how many of those were gifts? I like to use the word gift. How many were those gifts? Like, there's what was it 5 goals last game? 5.
5-2, yeah.
Yeah, 5 and then 3 tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest it was 5 or 6 that were gift goals. They could have been turned away. Like tonight, the shorthanded goal, the Bouchard tap, and that's 2. Then the last game, I think the softie on, the Skinners, that's 3. The power play goal, I think that was another one. And the Tyson Barrie giveaway. So it's 5 goals. 5 of the 8 I'm talking about already. I think they could have got rid of those. So you're back in the game.
Right. But I feel like you can, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, you can tighten up defensively and need to tighten up defensively. But now let's talk about, 2 goals last game and none this game. So, yeah, there's lots of shots. Sure, they generated a fair amount, but I don't think that's where the bar is. He needed to figure out a way to jar his group out of a rut that the other team's dynamite goaltender had put them in. So what can you do? What can you change? He changed it late. He changed it with 4 minutes left in the game. Why wait that long? What changed between the start of the third and then? Why? Oh, now it's 3 minutes left, so now's the right time to pull out that card? He has a luxury that no other coaches in the league have. The number 1 and the number 2 offensive players on the planet, and you can put them out there together if things aren't going well offensively for you. And I don't think he's doing it enough while the team is struggling and at times struggling to generate offense.
So are you looking for offense? You're looking for energy from the group.
You're looking for the magic that you have with 97 and 29 when you put them together. They had to do it in the playoffs last year at times. I'm just saying, I understand that long-term success, they need to stay apart, but he's got this arrow in his quiver and the team is not winning enough, and at times they're giving up too much. They need some offensive magic. Shot attempts and shots are not enough right now. He's got this magic arrow that he doesn't use enough. Right. You can't do it all the time, but I think he's missing spots where he should be.
I mean, the opposite side of that is that they played 7.5 minutes together on the power play. So is that enough magic time? I mean, that's a lot of time together. And then they do play together. Like, they play. It's not like he's separating them all the time, right? They are on the power play a lot together. And I like the balance through the lineup. And I know you don't want to hear that, and you also have to give other guys the centers to play with, and then the matchup issues on the flip side. Because I guess I'm guessing in your world, or this is not your world, your that was a bit dramatic, but in your
it's good. I like
scenario, in your scenario, Nuge becomes a second line center.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. And then
so you got Hyman on one side, you got Nuge in the middle, and then whoever else has it going, you play him on that other wing, and then you throw together a third line, and that's what you roll with.
Yeah, and I think that just weakens your lineup all the way down, right? If Kane and Yamamoto, if one of them was healthy, I might be more interested in that. But
he wasn't doing it back then either.
Yeah, no, and but I don't think you need to, because they were 7 and what do you say? They were 7 and 3 or something like that. Now,
but they're 10 games. They're 3 and 7 in their last 10, and he.
Yeah.
So you're okay with the amount that he's going to it. He's going to it less this year, I would say, than I think any other coach has in the past.
Yeah. And I don't think you need to. Like, I don't think that's the problem. I'm looking at this from a defensive standpoint. Goaltending that's not unfair, but your specialty teams, your penalty kill again. Today, 1 goal against on the penalty kill and 1 shorthanded. So you're -2. You're -2 today. And so 5-on-5, you're actually not. We weren't bad. We gave up 1 5-on-5. Good job. But the other 2, so I'm not quite in the same place as you are. I
agree with you what the problem is, Struds.
Yeah.
I just think there's a potential option to find a solution. That's all.
I think that you're just glossing over the problem. Then you're not solving it. Like, if the Oilers are going to win in the playoffs and well, let's say get to the playoffs and win the playoffs, the D zone and the rush chances have to be cleaned up. So you can gloss it over and they can keep winning and winning, win some games because those 2 guys go off, but you're still not cleaning up the problems.
But it's not like you throw McDavid and Draisaitl over the boards and then stop coaching the team to play better defense too. You can do it all at once. You can say, hey, everybody, play really good D. Connor, Leon, go out there together and play really good D. It's not like you quit on fixing the big problem. This is about putting together, changing the energy, shifting it up. He's got such an amazing option to go to, and it gets left in the quiver. I'm overusing that metaphor,
Yeah,
arrows
you're
and
really
quivers,
into
but yeah, I'm really into
Robin Hood
that.
today. Hey?
In my Prince of Thieves. I can't.
Quiver.
I like it though. You've counterpunched well in this debate, and I like it. Okay, let's real quick before we get to the next segment. Philip Broberg, word out of the American Hockey League, reports are good. He's put together 4 good games. Chatted with some people in and around it tonight, and they're saying he's looking really good. I know he doesn't play the right side, which is where some of the problems are for the Oilers. What do you think? 4 good games after the start he had. Is he a potential solution for the moment?
Oh, after 80 good minutes, for sure. Let's get him in there. That's like playing golf, saying I played 2 good holes. I'm ready for the Masters. Let's get him up here, get him playing all the time, push guys out. We collective, the media, the fans, we can't wait to get these guys up. And then when they come up and they struggle, oh, why isn't he playing good? Because he hasn't had time to find his game. So a hard no with a capital O, not even a capital N, just a capital O. No. Leave him down the minors. You can't
capitalize the second letter of a word.
And an exclamation mark after. No, not interested. I don't put him down there. You know what he is? Should be like, he should be like, like a nice, maybe do it, buy a stock, and you buy and you just leave it down there, knowing it's going to go up, it's going to appreciate, get some dividends here and there. And then when he's really ready, when that stock really hits the peak, boom, then you bring him up and he gets to play. Because who's he coming up on the right side? Are you going to play him more than Barry? No. Going to play
left
him more
side.
than Bouchard? No.
Left side, buddy.
Not going to play him more than Curry or Curry. What's his nuts?
Holy cow.
Yari Curry's coming back
what
in.
What decade are you in?
Yeah, so you're going to
see Bouchard, he's a left shot guy though. He plays ahead of Nima Linen or Murray. So that's where he plays.
So he's going to come and play 9 minutes. So he's going to get to 9. Wow, those were a mind-blowing 9 minutes.
For the record, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just not quite as. Here's why. They're in trouble on the blue line, and they need some help. He's not going to be the answer. But if he's playing really well and playing with confidence, and they felt like this player was ready before, dropped the ball a bit, it's not like he needs another half seasoning before you can possibly consider him in the NHL. He's had his seasoning. He just went and had a poor start this year. Now that poor start has turned into some good games, and the desperation level, the need level is pretty high on this team. So I don't think it's the right thing to do either yet, but I wouldn't be as appalled if they were like, hey, he's put together some good games. Looks like he's good to go. He's had his seasoning, Struds. This isn't a guy in his first pro season in his first 4 games.
Yeah. Well, Schaefer's playing well in Seattle. Maybe we should bring him up. He can take Kane's spot. He's a big body, right?
Listen to you.
No, there's got to be someone. Is there anyone else? I had a pretty good alumni skate last week. Maybe they should bring me up. Like I'm having fun here, but I 80 minutes, man. 80 minutes of good hockey he's played. You leave him down there. I think, should be beside him for another 80 is Dylan Holloway. Both those guys should go down there you said yourself, they're not the solution. So right now they're not the solution. So then so you said they're not the answer. So I'm saying then they're not the solution. Yeah. Send them down, let them grow, figure it out. Because do you really think Broberg's going to get more than 10 minutes if he gets called up?
I think that the standard for getting elevated minutes on this blue line right now is not that high. So I think if Philip Broberg comes in and skates well and seems to have it together and makes a few nice plays and seems to be conscious, like he's playing tons of minutes down there. Good. I guess what I'm saying, Strud, the bar just isn't that high to get to play on this blue line and earn some minutes. So again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not. You're trying to creating an enemy out of me here. I'm not disagreeing. I don't think the right thing to do is bring them up, but I could see them considering it because of where they're at and where the need level is at. Okay. Great debate. Love it. Love the fire and love the passion. That was a breakdown brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Okay, because of all this talk we've been doing about the blue line and problems, let's be a couple of guys that bring some solutions to the table. And that's going to be the subject of our Takeaways segment. And of course, Takeaways is brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC. Just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. The number one GMC dealership in all of Canada for 5 years running. The all-new redesigned Sierra 1500 is spectacular, and they got a wide variety of trim levels. I've got the Elevation, and I love it. Absolutely love it. The Denali Ultimate is regarded as the most advanced and luxurious in its class. It's a massive dealership. They actually have inventory, huge used inventory as well. Go see Phil and the crew down at Sherwood Buick GMC. So, in terms of solutions, Struddy, let's talk about potential additions. I believe they're going to add somebody later as opposed to sooner. Now, if they keep going in this direction, maybe that'll expedite things. But let's dig into the UFA crop, the potential rentals coming up at the trade deadline. Can we both agree that it will be a left shot guy?
Yes, I do. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, okay. We can both agree that it can't be a tweener, needs to be a top 2 pairing guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Top 4 defenseman, not someone who could play top 4. It's a top 4.
Top 4 defenseman. Okay, so left shot, top 4 guy whose game primarily is rooted in the ability to defend as opposed to looking for any level of offense. Fair?
100%, yeah.
Okay, you pull up the list on Cap Friendly and you look at the teams that might potentially be sellers. It's not a long list, Struddy. It's not a long list, buddy. Maybe it ends up having to be a hockey trade. So you've looked at the list. I have looked at the list. Go ahead and give me your name.
So I have a specific guy in mind. I've had my eye on this guy for a while. And I've liked his game for a long time. Unfortunately, he's hurt right now. He plays for a team that I think is going to have a tough time competing this year because of some of the injuries they've had.
I like this. You're teasing it.
I am. Well, I'm just trying to build it up.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Who could it be?
Dmitry Orlov out of
Dmitry Orlov. Okay, I'm just going to give the people a quick rundown on his statistics, okay?
Yeah.
Dmitry Orlov, Washington Capitals, born July 23rd, 1991, makes him 31 years of age. Second round pick, 55th overall, 1.3 annual salary. Currently, cap hit is 5.1. He is 5'11", 211 pounds, has 656 career games. 57 goals, 185 assists, 242 points, and is averaging 21 minutes and 17 seconds of ice time this season with a Corsi for percentage of 51.1. There's the background. Now tell me why you think he's a good fit.
Because I think he touches all parts of your game. Now, he doesn't exactly, when I envision what I'm looking for a left-handed Adam Larson is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Now, Orlov is not that, but he touches a lot of parts of your game. He can do, obviously power play. I'm not sure how much they can do that. They can do some penalty kill. And he moves the puck well. And I think the Oilers really need D-men that can move that puck up to the forwards the Oilers have. But also he has the Stanley Cup pedigree. And on this team right now, they don't have enough of that. And I know people are always like, we don't need to know what guys that won Stanley Cups before. I think it makes a difference. If you've never been there before, having someone in there who's been in there, who calm things down, a la Duncan Keith last year, I think it does make a difference. So, a couple problems, does he want to leave Washington? Are they going to re-sign him? His buddy Ovi's there. Like, I get all that. I see all that. But if the word is he is interested or available, I think that's a guy the Oilers make a call on for sure.
Just trying to. I should have looked at this ahead of time. Does he have the no trade clause? Yeah, he's got the NTC here listed. So whether or not he'd be willing to go,
that would probably be cap number. Sick cap number. Sick at $5 million. Like that is really good.
You like
really
that number for him, eh? And the Oilers, I do believe the Oilers will have room to add a guy that's in and around that cap range. I mean, depending that, but if they wait a little bit till a little bit later on in the season. So we both did this exercise and we both came up with the same guy. So, that was the guy that I came up with too. But that's the thing. The list is not that long.
No.
Other potential options. So, and this is about sellers, right? Who's actually even going to sell? You want it to be a legit top 4 guy. So I then isolated it by time on ice, right? The guy who's actually averaging the most minutes that fits into what we're talking about right now is Vladislav Gavrikov with Columbus. He's playing 22 minutes and 28 seconds a night. He's an unrestricted free agent, 2.8 on the cap with a 4.2 salary. And he's got 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Listen, I'm going to admit I don't I can't sit here and give you a detailed scouting report on this player, but the thing is when you dial in and look at who the potentials might be, I mean, other guys that play that, Kulikov's playing a lot in Anaheim, who are probably going to be sellers. Gostisbehere, not really the right kind of guy in Arizona. Dumoulin, Pittsburgh's not going to be selling. The guy that would be the fallback plan, who falls out of the criteria for you and me of being a legit top 4 guy, is Jack Johnson in Chicago, who of course won a Stanley Cup recently with the Colorado Avalanche. But he's playing 20 minutes there. But if you look at his minutes in the playoffs, he was playing like 11 minutes in the playoffs. So this is a short list that they're dealing with.
They have that guy already. His name's Ryan Murray. He's on the Oilers.
Johnson, you mean?
That's who Johnson is.
Yeah, minus the cup. I mean, he has it, but he wasn't a part of it necessarily.
He wasn't. But I mean, so I mean, with all due respect to Jack Johnson, but that's not a solution. So for the Oilers, I mean, it is tough. They're in a tough spot as far as acquiring the guy they need. The other guy that's out there is John Klingberg with Anaheim. If nothing else is out there, is that a guy the Oilers should just pick up just because he's a top 4 defenseman?
Oh yeah, 100% he is.
But he doesn't fit what we're talking about, and he's a righty, I think, too. Yeah. So those are a couple of X's against it,
and he's not playing very well. Like, he's struggling there, playing 23 minutes a night, not really producing much offense.
Right, but I mean, he is a guy that would fit that what we're talking about here, right? Like, as far as I believe he's a top 4 defenseman. Now he might be struggling. I don't know how good that team is, but so it's going to be a challenge. Sorting this out is going to be a challenge for Ken Holland. But I think I come back to our previous call. They have to figure this out in their own zone. They're better than they're showing. As a group, they're better than they're showing.
Yeah, don't disagree. Well, I think we solved nothing, and we didn't really give any options that weren't the obvious, but that's just the unrestricted crop. And that's why maybe Struddy, it ends up being a hockey deal. Maybe they identify a guy. Chychrun is always going to be in the conversation. People are always going to talk about that. My sense on Jacob Chychrun with the Oilers organization is that there's some question about where his game is at because he hasn't been playing a lot. Yep. And I'm not sure if the asking price remains what it is and reporting continues to be it's going to stay, a couple first-round picks plus. Yeah. I don't think the Oilers go down that path unless the price comes down on Chychrun. My sense within the organization is that price is not going to get it done for the player that Chychrun is in the moment.
I'll be interested if they get that. I mean, you're part of it. You're paying for his cap hit. The cap hit's very good, and then the player is the second thing you're paying for. So you can always ask for it. And I love when guys beef it up, right? Because you're trying to,
especially early in the year here. Why wouldn't you? The prices are high right now.
100%. So I don't know. I mean, I would be surprised if he gets traded for that much. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I also was surprised by the return that Joe Sakic got for Matt Duchene.
Yeah.
And honestly, that really became the nucleus, well, not part of the nucleus of their Stanley Cup champions.
What did I should have checked this ahead of time. Boston, what did Boston give up for Lindholm? Like, I think part of what they're talking about with the return for Chychrun is looking at previous deals, right? And some guys have been some pretty high prices have been paid for these types of guys recently.
Wasn't Lindholm a prospect and a first rounder? I thought that
just
was
grabbing it right now. Yeah, sorry, we should know this. First round pick in 22, second in 23 and 24, Vakanainen and John Moore. So 2 seconds, which is basically like the value of a first, and an additional first plus Vakanainen. So I think they were reporting on Insider Trading that part of the reason why they're sticking to their guns in Arizona is because of the price that they've seen paid recently. But that's pretty rich for a guy that hasn't played a lot and has a hard time staying healthy.
That's a big deal. The injuries is something you want to be, pretty nervous about. But also you're getting the cap hit because Lindholm signed for quite a bit more than that, but he's working out pretty well in Boston.
Yep, for sure. All right, Struddy, this was a tidy little 39 minutes.
Yeah. Can I just jump in really quickly? I've got a solution. I think who they need to call up. Are you familiar with Joel Mata? He was the Oilers' 7th round pick last year. I think he's ready. I think that's the solution. He's got 3 goals at the University of Vermont. time to get him up here. Let's get this guy.
Now you're
signed
just
up
being a smartass. Now you're just being so the whole time I was talking, you were on your computer searching Oiler draft picks to come up with a smartass comment that I could see your screen bobbing around as you were typing on your computer. I was like, what's this guy up to? And that's what it was, just to come up with that little comment.
Joel Mata. I can't wait to see him.
All right.
Number 43.
Book it on the weekend. Oh, by the way, we should have talked about this. Who are you starting next game?
I'll go back with Campbell.
Give him a chance to build off it a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Skinner's had a lot of starts, and it's not that I think Skinner's been bad, but, I thought Campbell's pretty good tonight. Second goal, what can you do about it? The first goal probably needs some help. The third goal...
He gave him we're not talking about him costing them a game, which is which is a win for Campbell so far this year, right?
I thought he looked good. He looked
steady,
he looked comfortable and good. So, I don't know what more do you want from this guy? I'm going back. What would you do?
I'm torn. Stuart Skinner was giving you a real high level.
Yeah.
And it's important to have Jack Campbell engaged, but can you re-engage Jack Campbell against Florida the following game while giving Skinner a chance to stay in it as well, to stay in the fight as well?
Yeah.
I would be tempted to give Skinner the chance to get his game back to where it was before, and then Campbell gets a game a couple of days later. I think by going back to Campbell, you're saying to Skinner, yeah, you were real good before, but we think he might be and we need to give him the go ahead of you. Sure. Even though you took care of your business and he didn't in the early going, we need to give him the next one. I like the messaging better by starting Skinner next.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does.
You've been off on your goalie predictions this year too.
I have, honestly. With Tippett, I thought I nailed it. This guy, I have no idea. Idea. So I apologize, guys.
We'll see what happens. All right, Struddy, great stuff. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Appreciate it. That'll wrap up the podcast. Big thanks to our sponsors, as always. Mr. Dirk, our title sponsor, making Struddy look so good on that set, that television set. DLR Vinyl Products, Sherwood Buick GMC, and, of course, our friends at Weiss Johnson as well. We'll check in with a Got Your Back short shift in the coming days. Thanks for your downloads and your subscriptions. Hey, if you get a chance, leave us a review on iTunes. We love hearing what you think. Love hearing your thoughts on the podcast, good, bad, indifferent. If you think Struds is a bit too much of a smartass, feel free to leave that as a comment as well. We can straighten him out a little bit. We'll check in a few days, folks. Enjoy your night. Cheers. I can hear you cackling in the background.
Good night, Joel. Good night.